Hello, I'm Emma.
And I'm Ellie.
And together we are
E Squared. Welcome back to another episode of Campus Chronicles.
The show brought to you by students for students.
And what are we doing today, Emma?
Today we have something that we haven't done in a bit, I'm pretty sure. We have a quiz episode, which is super exciting because I always think these are fun to do. They're fun to put together at least.
Yeah. And then sometimes we forget the answers to our own quizzes and we get them wrong and it's like super embarrassing. So.
Well, yeah, but it's kind of fun because then we can learn along with you guys.
Yeah, so.
Look on the bright side.
Yeah, but been a while since we've done this format, so hopefully you guys enjoy this. And today we're doing an episode about, how to balance your work life and your school life and your home life, I guess, or personal life. Anyway. So yeah, we just have a compilation of questions, and we'll be reading them off for you today.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And this is kind of, like Ellie said, it's a episode about balancing your work life / school life with your personal life, because I got this idea for this episode because I recently got a second job. So I just thought it would be a good idea to talk more about some tips for just balancing everything you have going on in your life. Because I know it can be a lot sometimes, but...
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't have to necessarily apply to anyone with, 2 jobs, but if you have more than one job or just a messy, school life or cluttered schedule, hopefully this episode can help you a little bit to sort of manage that and, take care of yourself along the way. So.
Yeah, and these tips are kind of for everyone. Like Ellie said, you don't have to have 2 jobs. You don't even have to have a job. Maybe you're, like Ellie said, your school life is just super busy all the time. Yeah. Or maybe you have to babysit your siblings, you know what I mean? Or you have to drive your grandma to the doctor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's something for everyone in here is what I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
do you want to read our first question?
Yeah, that sounds nice. Okay. Question number 1. To reduce stress about work, you should A, have a set routine so you can get the important stuff out of the way as soon as possible. B, leave the work at work so you can relax at home. C, neither, or D, both A and B.
I think it's D.
That is correct. Okay, so to reduce, stress at work while at home, you can make sure to have a routine for your job. So it just helps you to ensure that you have all your responsibilities done before you leave the office. So, for me, I like to come in, do my set routine, just, make sure I have the podcast uploaded and edited and stuff like that. And then after that, I can handle whatever comes for the rest of the day. So whether it be, some weird technical issue or my bosses want me to do some other stuff, I can just have that assurance knowing that all of my base responsibilities are taken care of.
Yeah, and it also helps when you go home, you can just think in your head oh, it feels so good to have gotten all my work done today, instead of laying in bed at night and you're like, oh no, I forgot to do that, you know what I mean? Because I'm sure that moment has happened to everyone before. And even if the work that you have to do is homework, you're like, oh my gosh, I needed to do this assignment, it's due at midnight and it's 11:30. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you just look at your calendar every day and you're like, oh, this assignment is due today at midnight, you can do it at 5:30 when you look at your laptop instead of at 11:30 when you have to rush. You know what I mean?
Speaking of which, I think I have 2 assignments due tonight, so I should probably get on that.
Yeah, check your assignments ahead of time.
Yeah. Just make sure you have a nice routine for yourself if you can build one. It just helps to have certain times to do things and certain days to do things. For me, I like doing my homework a couple days in advance, so that way when I get to the thing, it's either halfway done or already done. I just don't have to worry about it. So if you can set aside some time to just work on your responsibilities so it doesn't impact your life, it's really beneficial.
Yeah, so, and another piece of advice from this question that I like is to leave the work at work, because sometimes you've had such a day at the office and then you finally get to go home. You don't have to spend the rest of your night stressing about what went wrong. You know what I mean? Because all you can do is just fix it tomorrow. You can just take that bit to relax because you really have earned it.
Yeah, I think one of the best pieces of advice I've ever received is sometimes days are just completely messed up and there's no way to go back and fix it. So just sleep on it and hopefully tomorrow is better.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so our second question that we have is, to make your life easier, you should A, only focus on school, B, only focus on work, or C, you should ignore all of your responsibilities to reduce stress, or D, none of these.
I want to say D.
Yeah, you're right.
Yay.
Just because you have a lot of work due from like this specific class, or you've had a really stressful day at your job, you know what I mean? Doesn't mean you like only focus on one or the other, you know what I mean? Because it can be tempting to do that, especially when one is causing you a lot of work. But the key to a work-life balance is finding that balance, you know what I mean? You can't just pick and choose which things to focus on.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you want to juggle your responsibilities. I mean, it will probably get complicated at some point. I mean, it does for everyone. But as long as you can find a way to slot everything in so it's not affecting you or your work-life balance, it is really nice.
Yeah. And part of that is just finding whatever works for you, which is a piece of advice I have written down a lot on our little planning sheet. Literally, what works for me isn't what's going to work for Ellie. What works for Ellie isn't what is going to work for Scott. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, and so for our next question we have, you should only make time in your schedule for school, work, and sleep. True or false?
I think that's false.
It is false. To make your life easier, you should try to find what works best for you when you're, balancing your activities. Just take care not to disregard or neglect the things you have to do throughout your life. So, whether it's just like not sleeping because you have too much work to do, or sleeping because you have too much work to do.
Yeah.
Maybe don't do either of those things. I have fallen victim to both of those, and it's never worked out for me well in the past. So just make sure you have, once again, a nice schedule where you can set aside time, do your responsibilities, and then when you get home, it'll be less strenuous on you just to be able to relax and chill out and calm down. And, just calm down for your day.
And a key part of this question I want to point out is that it says you should only make time for schoolwork and sleep, because those aren't the only things in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You still, even though maybe you're super busy because you have 2 jobs and you go to school and you like have a lot of homework to do, you know what I mean? That doesn't mean I don't also find room for hanging out with my friends or playing my silly little video games or watching TikTok or listening to my music, you know what I mean? Or exercising, you know what I mean? You just have to find time, even if it's like 30 minutes at night, to do the things that make life worth living, because life isn't just about school, work, and sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, take some personal time, like do your activities, just whatever keeps you happy and energized and healthy, and yeah.
Yeah. And so the next question we have kind of ties into this one. It's another true or false. It says the order of importance of things in your life should always be school, then work, then family, then everything else.
That is false.
Yes, just because, literally what I just said, just because something works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And finding your own order of importance for things in your life is very important. No way, not like it says importance, but I've said this like 3 times already, but literally finding what you personally prioritize in your life is what you should strive to do.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, I like to organize things in order of probably like, school, work, and then all my other stuff. Well, maybe not exactly. It changes, but like right now, I'm trying to prioritize school because, that's my main focus about a, transfer,
and like even our jobs
like
are
school related.
Yeah.
So my job is also a huge part of my education. So, it's related to my major. I'm learning stuff here. So yeah, I'm putting a large focus on school right now, but I also want to spend some time with my family. So, I also just have to make sure to balance that when it comes in, to the mix, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, just take that time to, sort of organize your priorities. Once again, it's different for everyone. Like if you're not currently attending school, but you're thinking about it, school's probably not going to be like highest up on your importance.
Yeah.
But, prioritize getting into school if you're interested. Or same thing with work.
What if you're all about the grind and that's the only thing you think you should focus on? That's okay. You know what I mean? Sometimes work is more important to you than school, but yeah.
Yeah. Just make sure you're taking care of yourself and taking time for yourself along the way. So, yeah. Anyways, for our next question we have, to make college life more full, you should A, only do things related to your major. B, should join clubs/electives that you find, so you can find a community wherever you can. Or C, you should always do the assignments as close to the due date as possible, so to up the risk factor.
I think it's C, because part of life is living on the edge.
Of course, yeah. So C is no.
No, the right answer is actually B.
Yeah. So, a lot of people I've found kind of hesitate when joining electives or clubs, just because they're sort of, daunting to get into sometimes, like especially if you don't know anyone in those things already. But I would highly recommend it just because if you're doing something you enjoy along with your schoolwork and coursework and it's just right there and hopefully offered for free sometimes, it's always nice to just look into something. I mean, I know we say this like every episode, but college is the time for experimentation. You should go out of your way to try new things and meet new people. So
yeah, and a part of what goes along with that is that a lot of the time when you first get into college, you're thinking in your head, I just want to get my major done as quick as I can. But sometimes that isn't the case. You know what I mean? So finding some little things along the way, like just maybe you find a group of friends and you get lunch with them every Tuesday night. Or you join choir like me and Ellie are right now. You know what I mean? You just have to find those little things that makes going through college a little easier. And you don't only have to take classes about your major, because sometimes you find joy in like something that isn't related to it.
Yeah, like I almost like to think of it as like, a little college family. You try to get people closer to you, and hopefully by the time you've finished, you've accumulated just like, a couple people that you can talk to and hang out with and just share things with. It makes the whole process a lot more easy to deal with, a lot easier to handle, and it's just nice to have a sense of community, especially when you're, joining something larger than yourself.
Yeah. And trying new things is what life is all about, especially when you're in college. Like Ellie said, it's the time for experimentation, so you should just try new things. You know what I mean? There's no harm in it.
Yeah.
And even if you end up not liking it and you do want to just focus on your major, at least you found that out about yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, for example, I did piano last semester, and then I'm doing choir this semester, and both of those classes have been very fun. So, just get out of your comfort zone if you would like to, I guess.
Yeah.
It's nice to try.
Okay, so our next question is another true or false. It says, you should work to maintain your connections and relationships in and out of work and school because having a strong support system is important.
That is true.
Yes, exactly what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Like, a big part of what makes college easier is having people you can complain about your classes with, or you can ask for help if you are struggling with this assignment, or you can just say hi to in the hallways, you know what I mean? Or even if maybe you have a little bit of a struggle making friends on campus, you have those friends from high school or that you met online that you can go chat to, like, oh, I just had a bad day, can we call? You know what I mean? And that always helps brighten my days up.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I first started my freshman year, I was super apprehensive to join my classes because I didn't know anyone there and I didn't really know what I was doing. But there was this one super nice girl in my Photoshop class who was since transferred, I believe. But if you're listening to this, shout out to you. And yeah, it was just really nice because we sat next to each other on the first day and she talked to me and I talked back. And then we had this like little friendship for, the duration of the couple of semesters that we had our classes together. And even if it's just one person, just make sure to foster those friendships because it's really, really nice to have someone to talk to throughout your, academic life.
Yeah. And like I said, outside of that, it's still equally important, if not more, to foster the relationships that you've had that are long-standing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because those are the people that you're going to have for the rest of your life. Or maybe the friends you make in college are the people you're going to have for the rest of your life. It's just important to focus energy towards the connections in your life because I think that's what life is all about.
Yeah, of course. Just don't forget your friends when you start doing stuff.
Yeah.
Essentially.
You don't have to do things alone is basically the point we're trying to make.
Yeah. Anyways, for our next question, we have, what can you do to stay healthy even if you're busy? A, do a 10 to 20 minute workout every night. B, eat healthy foods. C, go for a walk in the morning. Or D, all of these or whatever your personal definition of healthy is.
I think it's D.
That is D. Okay, so, all of the listed examples, I'd say, are pretty good examples of how to stay healthy. I mean, whether it's just like, eating healthy or going on walks or, playing with your dog or, doing a couple sit-ups before you go to bed at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone has a different definition of healthy, but as long as you're, making sure to take care of your body and your mind too, it really helps with, your school life and your work life.
Yeah. And the biggest part of this question that I want to get across is that what works for me, once again, is not what's going to work for you. You know what I mean? You have to find the balance in, maybe you like to do little Pilates videos on YouTube like I do, or maybe you like to go on a walk every night, or maybe you just incorporate more fruits and veggies into your diet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, some people like doing Pilates, and personally, if I tried doing them, I think I would just die on the spot. But,
they're not that bad.
yeah, I like going on walks, though, just walking around town whenever I get bored or just feel like it. Even if it's not, like, a scheduled thing, sporadic exercise can be nice, too.
Yeah.
I remember, like, maybe a semester or two ago, I really just liked sometimes going after class to the mall or to a park or Main Street, just somewhere nice where I could just walk up and down. It doesn't have to be, like, somewhere especially made for exercising. You could just go anywhere.
It doesn't have to be complicated. Whatever works for you will work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if it's just going up and down your block a few times, or
walking up the various stairs of San Juan.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just find what works for you.
Yeah, pro tip, the steps in front of the West Classroom Complex, a couple of set of those, and you'll be ripped in no time.
I have to pretend like they don't win me, but sometimes they do, you know what I mean? Okay, so our next question says, you should have a full schedule every single day or else you're being lazy.
That is false.
What?
I don't think I can survive with that.
I thought it was true.
That is true.
No, it's false.
Okay.
It's okay to have a day where all you do is watch your favorite show, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I've been watching that lately, so I just had to slink that in there.
Yeah.
But you really just have to have a day or two where you do nothing, or you go hang out with your friends, or you listen to the new album that your favorite artist just put out that you've been meaning to listen to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like for me especially, I like to put all of my classes on Monday through Thursday, so that way I can have a 3-day weekend every single week, and it just works out so well for me. I love not doing anything for 3 days.
Me too. And I know sometimes, because I struggle with this too, doing nothing after doing something every single day in the week, like, you feel lazy, you feel like you're wasting time, you're like, why? I feel like I'm like restless, like I'm like, why am I not doing anything right now? You know what I mean? But I promise, treat it as the reward that it is. Like, you are allowed to have days where you don't do anything or you barely do anything.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I love just having days where I could just, snuggle up in my bed, watch like a cartoon or something. Mental health days, relaxation days, leisure days, whatever. Just take them.
Yeah, because having a full schedule every single day of your life, you're going to get burnt out real fast.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on to our last and probably final question for today. If you ever feel like you don't have time to yourself ever, you should stay up late to have more time to yourself, hide in the freezer at your job, or set aside a day for yourself to take an hour or so in the day. Or take an hour or so in the day.
I think it's C.
It is C.
I'm laughing because I put the hide in the freezer at your job because me and my sister were talking about how she does that at her job sometimes, so I just thought it was funny. But also sometimes you have to do that because you're just having one of those moments, and it's okay to have a little moment sometimes.
Yeah, personally, we have a closet here that works instead of the freezer. You didn't do that for me. Anyways, but yeah, it's good to take just an hour to yourself if you can't have a day. I mean, this kind of ties into our last question. Yeah. So, like, if you can't have a free day throughout your entire week, at least make sure to have some time to yourself.
Yeah, and that shouldn't come at the expense of your health, which is also another thing that kind of ties into what we were just talking about with taking care of yourself, whatever works for you. Like, you shouldn't sacrifice your sleep because the only time I have to myself is at midnight when no one's awake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't sacrifice your health to have that moment in time. You should just try to fit into your schedule moments here and there to where you don't get burnt out.
I feel like I've fallen victim to that.
I definitely have, which is why I bring it up, but
so yeah, don't sacrifice sleep for free time.
Yeah, because sometimes you wake up the next morning and you're like, oh, like I have to go
Yeah.
to 3 classes a day and work later. And you're like, why did I stay up so late last
Very
night? You know what I
true.
mean? That 1 hour you have scrolling TikTok is not worth the whole day being lazy and
Yeah.
exhausted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, sorry, listeners. I said that was our last question, but it actually looks like we have time for one more.
Okay, so Ellie lied because she's a liar.
My
I'm just
bad.
kidding. Our number 10 question for today, and the last one, says, at the end of the day, you should do what feels right to you.
That is true.
Yes, and that is exactly what we've been talking about the whole episode long. And another little tidbit, which I'm sure you guys can guess what I'm about to say. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it.
Yeah. Whether it's friends, family, community, priests, college instructors, just whoever you have, make sure you're asking for help with whoever you trust.
Yeah. And
Tutoring center, too.
yeah, yeah, good point. It's just find what works for you, which is the whole point of this whole episode. If this was a English class in high school, they'd say, what is the theme of this episode? And you would say, do what works for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, and with that being said, I think that's just about time. So we hope you enjoyed our episode. And yeah, just keep all that in mind for when you're trying to balance your work and school life. So
Yeah, and we hope that you guys are having a very successful semester so far.
yeah, best of luck to all of you.
Yeah, and if you've started a new job recently, I hope it's going good.
Yeah. And with that, we'll see you on another episode of Campus Chronicles. Thanks for tuning in.
Have a good day, guys. Bye.
Bye.